BBC Audio presents The Grand Tour, a journey through British politics from BBC Radio 4. Anne McElvoy traces the emergence of three key political movements in Britain: Conservatism, Liberalism and Socialism, with interviews, readings and fascinating anecdotes that ground their emergence. Firstly, Conservatism, where Anne McElvoy tells the stories of big challenges that have spurred leading British conservative thinkers into action, from the French Revolution to the permissive society.
Yeah. 1793. Louis XVI, the King of France, has been executed. The mob is on the march. Paris is under a reign of terror. Everyone lives under the shadow of the guillotine. But amid all the bloodshed, the tyranny and the chaos, something rather surprising was struggling to be born. A progressive Irish-born MP, Edmund Burke, was horrified by events over the Channel. And in his response to the revolution, you can detect the beginnings of modern British conservatism. It sealed Burke's reputation as the founding father of a powerful and enduring set of ideas. In 1790, 3 years before the Reign of Terror, despite the revolution's grand ambition and Enlightenment ideals, Edmund Burke could already see the way it was going.
In the groves of their academy, at the end of every vista, I see nothing but the gallows.
Burke was no reactionary. He supported the American Revolution and he backed Parliament against the power-grabbing of the king. But in the French Revolution, he saw such a destructive threat to the existing order that he was forced to step back and work out what was good about it at home. And that's why he influenced the dominant belief system of the British, a small c conservatism. This is, after all, a country that hasn't seen revolution or dictatorship for centuries and has been drinking tea and eating beef for almost as long. Continuity is so much part of our history that, unlike socialism or liberalism, conservatism can claim that it's not an ideology at all. But over these 10 programmes, I want to explore how conservatism has been shocked into action by some overwhelming new force. The reason the French Revolution seemed such a threat to Burke was precisely because to many of his friends it offered the dazzling promise of freedom. One French composer set the cry "Vive la liberté" to triumphant music. And Burke's fellow progressives like the great radical Thomas Paine and the dissenting preacher Richard Price responded with wild enthusiasm. As Richard Burke, no relation, but a leading expert on Burke at Queen Mary's College, University of London, says, this was the moment they'd been waiting for.
Richard Price responded really in millennialist fashion about the revolution, thinking that because it was a sort of progressive event in human history, that it probably indicated the proximity of the return of Christ. The idea was basically that the world was going to have to be brought closer to a sort of state of perfection before the millennium arrived. It looked like this was becoming closer, first of all with the American Revolution and then finally with the French. His first public response took the form of a sermon, which he delivered on the 4th of November 1789.
Tremble, all ye oppressors of the world. Take warning, all ye supporters of slavish governments and slavish hierarchies. You cannot now hold the world in darkness. Struggle no longer against increasing light and liberality. Restore to mankind their rights and consent to the correction of abuses before they and you are destroyed together.
The fascinating thing about the emergence of conservatism is that it isn't just about politics, it's about artists too, nor is it just about London and the south of England. Contrary to today's clichés, much of the story of British conservatism is rooted in the north of England. Take the Lake District's most famous son, William Wordsworth. As the revolution broke out, he was a radical student at Cambridge, and like Price, he found it all glorious. Professor Dinah Birch
Sample complete. Ready to continue?